Hey, and welcome to the GigaBoots podcast. I'm here with, as usual,
Bob
and Dr. Agro
from GigaBoots.com. And welcome to the GigaBoots podcast. We seriously aren't numbering these until we actually start doing this as a normal thing.
Are we restarting again then?
What?
It will be podcast 1.
Yeah, once we go to...
We'll call it the GigaBoots Podcast X, and then we'll do like X2. And
then we'll
call it...
forget.
No, then we'll just call it 3.
I think we've...
And then we'll do X4, and then it'll be like the GigaBoots Podcast Ultimate Edition.
We're repeating.
Oh no.
We've only run
the
this,
numbers. Let this repeat.
We haven't even run this group for 3 years, and we're repeating.
Reboot.
Ugh. No. No, we'll name it the GigaBoots Podcast.gu. And then GigaBoots Podcast.gu hack.
Maybe we can just call it like Super GigaBoots Podcast, and then like Super GigaBoots Podcast Turbo, and then like Super Alpha GigaBoots Podcast Tournament Edition.
I think someone else has explored this route and it didn't turn out well.
I think it turned out great.
That's what motherfuckers said to Columbus.
That is what motherfuckers said to Columbus.
Motherfuckers always say shit to Columbus.
Welcome to the GigaBoots Podcast, where shit's educational. So this podcast, we're going to talk about what we've been playing, as per usual. We're really only going to cover one news story, because it's post-E3 and there's not a whole lot. Well, let's say 2. We'll cover 2, because I find this second one rather interesting. And then we're going to move on to a spoiler-rageous The Last of Us discussion thing.
No spoilers, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's spoiler-rageous, but there are going to be spoilers, so just listen. Just keep listening and only at the end assess whether or not we have fucking ruined the game for you.
We spoil the ending, you decide. If we spoiled the ending, which we did.
Do we put up a poll for this?
Oh my god, that's how we should always handle spoilers. Like other spoilers in this pod, we just put a poll. And you hope to god the 5 people who watched it before you are truthful. You go and it's like 5 yes, 5 no. God damn it.
I almost feel a civil duty to listen to this shit at this point. Okay, so what are you playing, Bob?
I am playing Fire Emblem on my 3DS.
Still.
Yes.
It is.
I don't believe I've progressed past a map since last time I mentioned I was playing Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
But I'm still playing Fire
Emblem. Who made that? Intelligent Systems?
Yeah, that's it.
God, their games are so awesome. Like Advance Wars. I can still play Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. Turns out Steve, my brother, never played it. Whoa. I'm like, whoa, go back. Like, the one on the Game Boy Advance is still really playable. Like, they're so good. They're so good.
It's true.
I
only ever played, apparently, the crappy one, and I love the crap out of it.
It was amazing.
Wait, which one?
DS.
What? I guess that one was lower rated, but
yeah.
Whatever.
I mean,
what was like called?
It is
Dual Strike, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Days of Ruin is the
sequel.
The cool one.
Yeah.
That never came out in Japan.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
They developed the whole thing, translated in English, released it here, released it in Europe, never released in Japan.
Apparently that series is not popular in Japan.
I don't know. I thought it was a tonal thing.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, it took forever for that to get over here even. So if it wasn't popular in Japan, I think Nintendo would have axed it.
Huh.
Because, I mean, you got to
I don't know. Does Nintendo axe anything, really?
Metroid. They tried so many times.
It keeps coming back.
They almost killed it like 2 times during the development of Super Metroid.
Wow.
And Super Metroid took forever to get greenlit. They do not like Metroid. Huh. They do not understand it. They do not like it. They don't want anything to do with it. Famicom Wars, though, has been going since, NES. So I figure it's got to be popular over there because it took until Game Boy Advance to fucking get over here. But in any case, you are also playing God's Eater Burst, as it's called in the States. Have you played any more of that?
I've really just played that stuff I played with you. So
okay, Agro, check this out. It's kind of like Monster Hunter, only way more anime, Sugoi Desu, with cool hair and stuff. So the whole idea is this game's enjoyable through the facet of multiplayer play, right? So we do, 4 or 5 missions?
Something like that.
And missions are short. They're like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, you go fight one enemy or something like that.
And then it's like, welcome to difficulty 2. You have to do the tutorial alone. And that was the last I played it. Because I was like, I can't stand you by myself, game. It is only fun when I watch some other anime dude run around with a giant sword that eats things.
Nice.
So maybe I'll go back to that.
That tutorial actually kind of interesting. It showed off that monsters apparently have weak points and that sort of stuff. So
You should
it's a lot more
probably attack
tactical.
those for massive damage.
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed
It's
by
really-
no giant crabs at E3.
Yeah. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Well, Game Republic's dead. So.
Right?
Did I send you that article?
Yeah, you said
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Man,
Game
Genji 1
Republic's
was
dead,
so great.
So no more folklore.
I wasn't holding my breath.
You weren't?
No.
You shit bag? You're a fucking monster. And then, of course, as per usual, which we never say this in the podcast, it's just heavily implied, Bob and I have wasted dozens of hours of our lives playing Skullgirls over the last week alone.
I have still somehow escaped ever touching Skullgirls.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I guess.
When
If that
we
happens.
have to do a quick play for Squiggly coming out, whenever that happens. Because
If that ever happens.
they did almost completely finish her up, and they're working on a big band now.
Right, they're getting really close on her.
They-
now it's just
as
if they're
far as
gonna
I
wait
know-
till everything's done before they do a patch, or
It would be much cheaper.
it would.
They could have saved so much money. But Aggro, what are you playing?
I actually finally remembered to put Final Fantasy VI on my Vita. So now I'm playing Final Fantasy VI. And spending long hours of the afternoon staring at a wall because I finished The Last of Us. And now I feel kind of empty.
I was a little terrified that you were saying that you were gonna say I finally remembered to try Final Fantasy 13.
Here I was expecting. I remembered to play Remember Me. Well, no, don't do that.
We're all wow. It's amazing because you painted a grim picture of your life, and we went grim dark, like way worse.
My friends have very low expectations of my taste.
We should do a
Is
Let's
that-
Play of Remember Me with Aggro. I
God.
believe Aggro would make that game all the more enjoyable.
From what I've heard, I believe you.
So that's what you've played. I have played, of course, shitloads of Skullgirls. That's every day. I can finally play as Peacock, which Bob loves now that I can play as Peacock.
That's
Just
a purely false statement.
spam
How
shit.
tall is that character?
She's actually the shortest character in the game, but with
Is
the
her
longest
tail
reach.
really
But
tall?
with the longest reach.
Does the tail stand up?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
How blonde is this character?
I don't even think it has a blonde color scheme.
Oh my god.
Right?
He's evolving.
Yeah, I know. That's completely bizarre for me. I waited until Hotline Miami came out on the PS3 and Vita to get it, which is my way of saying I missed the pre-order sale and the Humble Bundle sale, and then I just made a thing out of it. And I decided to own it.
Laziness transformed into staunch moral stance.
Yeah, I only play PlayStation. Man, that dude, I want to meet a guy who's like that. That must be interesting to absorb how he's like, no, PCs are for work. I will not touch a video game on PC. With a controller, without a controller, no. PlayStation is for games. What's an Xbox? Fuck that. PlayStation.
I honestly wish that Dust Elysian Tale would come out on PS3, but I think that there's some licensing thing where they produced it on the Xbox.
Oh, I
and
thought they
Microsoft
announced
Studio.
that. I thought they announced that was coming to the PS3.
Didn't they? During
Yeah,
E3? Wasn't that one of the things?
Well, no, that wasn't one of the things during E3, but I'm pretty sure the PlayStation blog said that it was coming to the PS3, and then I said something that sounded so insane. I was like, good, because I don't want to play this on PC. I want to play it with a controller. Which made it sound like I didn't know there was a 360 version. But really, it's like, oh, I know.
That's not a controller for 2D games.
I do not know. No. Man, that PS4 controller, have you seen the...
I just keep looking at pictures of it.
There's a size comparison between that and the current one.
Oh, yeah?
It's a good bit thicker.
Yeah, it's huge.
I figured it
It's
would be,
huge.
yeah. Those
Yeah,
big
well, it looks-
round handles.
Yes.
I'm a dude who loved the original Xbox controllers, so...
Like, here's the amazing thing, in my opinion. All these people who think the 360 controller was, to that point, the best controller ever, are saying hands down the PS4 is leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
And analog sticks are lower on it, so those handles must make that feel that much better to use those.
Because I realized I was holding the DualShock the other day, and I stopped, and I looked down, and I realized I wasn't using my palms to hold this thing at all.
Really?
I just had it. I set it crooked into my fingers.
Yeah, that's basically It's not contoured or angled in a way where it fills your palm.
Which honestly, I kind of appreciated that out of controller. It's an object I dealt with and held, and like, oh, it fit comfortably. And
well, see, that's the thing. That's always how I felt about arcade sticks. That's why I prefer controllers over arcade sticks. I'm like, that's not ergonomic or comfortable. That seems like a nightmare, like a keyboard gone haywire. So
fucking keyboards.
So I can
No, see,
fucking words.
Here's my thing. This is the reason I hate PC gamers.
Oh,
because I hate PC gamers.
Just in case.
It's not the elitism, because you know what? For a while, stuff on PC was awesome. It's not the ignorant snobbery. It's not the huge glut of people that now say PC games are the best games ever, and they have no idea why they think that. It's because, seriously, I don't care how much faster your turn speed is on Quake. Keyboards are a shitty way to play complex or fast-paced games that aren't StarCraft. Yeah. They are.
I
don't care how good you are at it. Fuck you.
I completely agree. Bob? Thoughts?
I mean, sometimes FPSs work for it, but I don't know. It doesn't have as tactile a feel. I definitely enjoy the controller more these days.
I would think that the FPSs work in the sense that the mouse is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, like the mouse is what does it. Honestly, I bought a Razer Nostromo to play PC games.
Yeah.
Because the buttons are lined up on the goddamn thing properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, even playing something like League isn't that great on a keyboard, because it's like you have three rows of random button keys that you have to hit, and if you get your fingers misplaced even slightly, you're just screwed.
Yeah, it's like doing that left-hand blind thing, and I know they're sitting out there like, oh, you just have to learn to do it, L2P noob. No, it's fucking awful, and you learn around it.
I mean, and see, that's the thing. A lot of these people keep pretending that it's not ergonomically or various other ways unintuitive or flaccid, that it's just, oh no, it's got a steeper learning curve and you need to work around that. You know,
too many buttons isn't the problem. Like I said, I bought a Nostromo and I love playing on my Nostromo. That thing fucking rules.
How often would you say you play with your Nostromo?
I said on. You wait for the right pitches.
And that's what I've been playing recently. I guess we're going to move on to news. Or I think we've done enough haterade on the PC master race.
I don't know. It's like white people after slavery. There is no time limit on hating these fuckers.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
You heard it here first. Dan from GigaBoots.com compares PC gaming to slavery.
I don't think Dan from GigaBoots.com did that. I think some other asshole from GigaBoots.com.
But Dan from GigaBoots.com does agree with that guy.
He is complicit.
I want a headline that says complicit. Ever. That would just be, whoa, we finally got out of the 7th grade reading level.
5th grade.
5th, sorry. I was overstating. Clearly. But okay, on to news after this short break. Okay, so the first bit of news I'm going to go ahead and do because I feel like we'll probably have less to say about it. So EA announced that all of the Frostbite 3 engine games are going to be optimized exclusively for AMD all the way up until launch on PC. This is actually something I theorized about and yelled at my coworker, which she definitely gets tired of. Because it was like, there's no fucking way with nothing but AMD chips in fucking PS4 and Xbox One that there isn't just going to be a, wait, we can make the experience on these consoles infinitely better if we just ignore NVIDIA, which is why NVIDIA is playing their cards like, no, we're above consoles. But then they're trying to come out with their own, and its market prospects are absolutely fucking miserable. They're trying to make a portable Android device that streams games from PC.
Guys,
it's so many layers of like...
Not
and
yet.
you heard that was delayed until next month, the day before it was released, right?
Oh, yeah? No?
Yeah, it was supposed to release tomorrow.
This is a black hole of that, guys. Like, it's either really way too early or just way too late to try that shit.
Yeah. And it's $300. It was going to be $350. It's called, for those who don't know, Project Shield, I think. Or just Shield.
Yeah,
either way, it's Shield. Just Shield NVIDIA, Google it.
Trying to invent a third console at this point, it better just be a fucking Raspberry that you put a case on. It better cost me $20 and it better play Crysis 2.
So yeah, PC gamers are a lot of them are upset, and I'm like, wait a second. So let me just get this clear. Hey, listen. I want you to answer this one question. Are you upset because you're a PC gamer and they have not optimized for your exact rig? Because that would make you an idiot. You're a PC gamer. Your shtick is you're supposed to throw hardware at the inefficiency of not optimizing for your particular setup. NVIDIA constantly would money hap people to get the way it's meant to be played logo at the beginning of their game and get it optimized for their shit. Mm-hmm. But AMD, being the smart fuckers they are, desperate smart fuckers they are, realized
That's how we built America.
If we win these next two consoles, then that means our PC versions of these games are going to be fucking stellar. I bet this is going to turn out really fucking awesome. And I doubt anyone convinced EA to, hey, don't optimize for NVIDIA. I mean, I've seen their connections with AMD's engineers and stuff just from Twitter alone. Like the Frostbite team working with AMD's team and not so much NVIDIA's to know, hey, they probably don't care as much about NVIDIA.
Right, I mean, if that's only relevant to PC gaming, then
not even most of PC gaming. I mean, if you look at sales, chances are it leans in AMD at this point. So
wow, it's only relevant to a particular outlet of PC. That's great.
Right. So that's sort of the situation that NVIDIA got itself into. And it saw this like 3 years ago. Like, and everyone knew, NVIDIA knew how fucked they were. Like 3 years ago. Like, wait a second, NVIDIA. Yeah? Intel's making integrated graphics chips that are as good as the current gen consoles in a couple of years. Yes, so what? AMD's combining their CPUs and their GPUs to make awesome APUs. Yes, so what? You guys can't make processors. We could if we wanted to, and to date, it's always been some sort of system on a chip that's been lackluster. So shortly after this announcement that all the Frostbite games, and keep in mind this is Battlefield, Mirror's Edge 2, the next Mass Effect, the next Dragon Age, Need for Speed.
Shit.
That's literally EA's catalog.
Yeah.
And that's all the stuff that like is usually PC gamers are like, oh, it's better on PC. Mm-hmm. Except for Mirror's Edge. I don't think anybody said that.
No, actually, it is. It had physics.
Oh, yeah?
So you had waving flags that you could shoot holes in and glass that exploded and stuff.
Cool. Which is funny to think. That game was hardly about shooting, yet you could shoot holes in the whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, but physics, and that was another bit NVIDIA made, actually, with the PhysX thing. See, they bought PhysX because that was the non-Havoc physics computation company. Right. PhysX was trying to get the whole like dedicated physics processor chip up and running, and that
because you want to buy another card for your PC, right?
There's so many of these tech companies who purposefully set themselves up to be bought. Like that is their whole game. Gaikai and OnLive, and Gaikai won because they did it better.
Yeah. Now I'd like to address something Bob just said. Bob, the closer I can get my PC rig to Voltron, the better.
All right.
Yeah. So this is another blow to the PC master race in a sort of way, because now you don't get the freedom and the general optimization. Like it used to be, I can use Intel because those are the best fucking processors, and I can use NVIDIA because those are the best fucking video cards. And now it's, well, I can use Intel and it'll probably still be all right, but won't be as efficient as your AMD chip would be, maybe.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of the sad death of an art form.
Yeah. Their long-term prospects aren't doing too well. Oh, what I was going to say is NVIDIA's licensing their graphics technologies now. See, they did this to Intel a year ago, and they made shitloads of money. And they've been making shitloads of money. But now they're telling everyone, hey, we'll license our fucking graphics technologies out to you. You just need to talk to us about it, and you can fucking use any of our modern designs. And basically what this boils down to, they admit the NVIDIA Tegra was a fucking failure. The Tegra chip, they kept trying to get into smartphones and other things, and it just wasn't as competitive as Apple's custom silicon or other companies, various things like that. And they just couldn't sell people on buying the Tegra line from them. The new console they're announcing, or they're launching next month apparently, uses the NVIDIA Tegra 4, I believe, and the Ouya uses an NVIDIA Tegra 3. Just for some... So this is basically NVIDIA going, we don't have very good market prospects because all of our money was coming from integrated graphics chips on the motherboards, and Intel just ate that. And AMD just got the optimized high end, so now we really have to make some retardedly good shit. And they're really not going to be able to
sign the Act of Union with England.
Huh? What?
Sorry, deep history joke you were saying?
In any case, yeah. That NVIDIA's, yeah. Yeah. But the cool thing is, AMD's probably going to stop sucking as much shit because they chopped off like 2/3 of their company to survive.
Damn.
I mean, this is why... I mean, they pursued some pretty weird businesses in the past. Like, shit I had never heard of until I read into their history. But nowadays, they seem more about the integrated processors for the PS4, the Xbox One, pushing relatively high-end video cards with bundles to, boost the value. They launched an $800, $900 video card, somewhere in that range, pretty recently, and they bundled something like 8 games with it.
Shit.
Yeah. NVIDIA was like, we have a better card, and everyone's like, yeah, but dude!
Dude!
And that was before this.
Is this Spelljammer? Is your card necessary to run? I'm pretty sure my TI-80 can run Spelljammer.
I think my laptop from 1995 can run Spelljammer.
Yeah, I think I just got it running on my watch. You have a digital watch? No.
No. It's a pretty fancy watch, though.
Of course.
But yeah, so that's the situation with AMD, NVIDIA, and licensing, and EA basically being like, we don't have to give a shit. And if EA's doing that on that massive of a scale, can you imagine smaller studios? Are they really going to be like, now we can optimize for NVIDIA and AMD equally, or we can have 2 awesome SKUs and 1 SKU that's really awesome on AMD? Yeah. And then for a tiny bit of context, let me sprinkle on, graphics driver updates for PC are actually roundabout fixes for games. Because drivers are generally so shit for video games like Rage. When Rage came out, it just didn't fucking work. Because graphics drivers for PC generally suck shit. They're generally speaking roundabout solutions to fix problems. Like, why is it doing that? Fuck! Okay, if it's running this game, then do this.
Don't you love PC gaming? It's just the best thing.
It's, suck it, white people.
No, and I like honestly that's one of my favorite things about console gaming. Like, for years it's like, oh well, it runs better on PC. Okay, but it's guaranteed to run when I put it in my console.
Yeah.
I will put that shit in, I will turn it on, and it will work, or entire divisions will lose their jobs.
Yeah. And really, it was only better on PC when you go back, like, in a specific range this generation. And it was because this generation was so long that it wasn't quite there at the killing it with performance level. Like the PS4, that literally is at a level where it's killing it with performance. Like, you know how much money you would have to sink into a PC to supersede that enough to get any noticeable effect out of your PC?
Enough to get personal phone calls from Crytek. Hey, can we borrow your shit for a minute?
Yeah, Crytek's about at the same level as NVIDIA right now. It's kind of embarrassing.
But Rise looks great.
Who's even using their engine?
I've heard of a few indie guys doing it.
I know one game was using CryEngine 3. I don't
Blacklight,
remember.
I think, or something?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, next bit of news. This is old news by now, but we figured we would talk about it. The Xbox One has reversed its decision. Microsoft, that is. The Xbox One isn't sentient yet.
Still has to gather data.
Their decision to have DRM and an always online requirement.
I thought that was deeply built into the system. It couldn't be reversed. It was actually really hard.
Have you seen that video?
I
Angry Joe talking to Don Matrick, or no, wait, that was Major Nelson.
Yeah. I have heard, like, I've read snippets from Don Matrick, basically going, "Yeah, no, it is, but I guess we're gonna try to work around it now."
See, that's the amazing thing. It really wasn't, because they kept saying the cloud is gonna compensate for our console's lack of power, which is horseshit.
Yeah,
and I will go into that.
I'm worried that they actually believe that.
Good. So
yeah, anyone believes it, but yeah,
it is
how many?
Terrible.
Is crazy.
Yeah, the amount of people who actually eat that up, who are like, "Wow, Microsoft's cloud is going to be able to do AI and physics and lighting."
Maybe the Great Pumpkin will come down with more RAM.
It's just really frustrating that no journalist has enough of a fucking clue about the industry they're covering and the way those games are made, let alone run.
Yeah, because
to know that that's
basically letting MTV report on computers.
That is such a good analogy. It hurts. Like, yeah. I mean, you look at the Kotaku staff. I wouldn't say any of them are nerds.
As useless as that term has become these days.
Yeah, this is true. We need to have another term. We need to work on this.
Or we need to just create a smaller, insular, more elitist group within gaming. Because honestly, while it may not help, it ain't gonna hurt.
So about what our site should be about. Because I was talking to him, and like him and I, we're sick to our stomachs about all these people who just... They literally, Kotaku had an article just the other day that was them taking the PR directly from Microsoft and throwing it in front of their user's face. Mm-hmm. Copy and paste style.
I mean, it's not even, it's just Kotaku. I see that literally every website.
They all do this. I watch these fuckers do it, and I sit there and I think, okay, I didn't even have a Super Nintendo, and I can do this shit. I can do it better than you, and the only reason I'm not is because I would have to kill myself. And then I think, how are you not killing yourself?
And that takes up the rest of Agro's evening. But yeah, it's just
really... was all this not killing yourself. What are you doing, Agro? You're living a lie.
You're living a lie. But yeah, I don't know. It's gotten to a point where I'm like, oh god, another episode of the Rant is Go is long overdue. I gave these assholes over a full month to call bullshit on this, and no one said anything.
Yep.
Damn you. Damn you, fucking Kotaku. Damn you, everyone. Why are you making me not be lazy? My viewers might be happy. Fuck.
So, Microsoft, doing the only thing they can do when you're fucked up the ass with a ball gag in your mouth by PR, is, like, cut your goddamn foot off and just hobble out for help. There was no good way out of this PR nightmare, and that's why they call it a PR nightmare. They were just fucked 8 days from Sunday.
They literally had no, like, positive to say.
No, there's no way out. They just had to drop it and go back.
Now, what really freaks me out is there are people disappointed that they dropped it.
Yeah. There are a ton. There are a ton of people. I know at least 4 articles on major websites that made front page talking about how everyone ruined the Xbox One. Because the family... Now, this is an interesting thing. Because the family sharing plan is now gone. They think that is absolutely necessary to be always online. It's not. If you bought a digital copy of the game, Microsoft should still be able to enable you to do that.
They're taking it away.
But no, they're taking it away.
Because it doesn't work on disc games anymore.
Which is why most of the people have characterized this Xbox One DRM reversal as like some spoiled brat who's being a shithead because he didn't get his way. Because they're like, because in the actual message from Microsoft on their own website said, because of this, we're not going to be able to do these new features. And everyone's like, the next consoles are going to be a repeat of this gen. It's not going to be a true evolution because we've removed the Xbox One DRM. You people are monsters, and I'm sitting here, the only one apparently who paid attention to the PS4 unveil back in February, and I'm like, guys, they're going to allow us to download parts of the game so we can start playing immediately. They're going to let us stream the game until it finishes downloading. There are so many things Sony's building into their online system to make buying digital better. And yet you shitheads keep pretending that your ability to sign in on your friend's Xbox One and download your games, which is something you can already do on the PS3. For some reason, none of them know this. Because they keep saying if we had the DRM still, we could do that.
Nobody in America bought a PS3.
Apparently, that
at
it's
least
ruined.
no journalists.
No, I firmly believe that.
And it just really kills me because I'm like, guys, I know not all of you live in Kansas City, Missouri, so you have to know download speeds are a thing, and so are bandwidth caps. The prototype for next gen games.
The game's in the cloud.
The prototype for the next gen games is basically Uncharted because it's one of the few games that said, we have a Blu-ray, fucking do it. Fucking 40 gigs. That game is 40 gigs. You're gonna sign into your friend's Xbox One and download 40 gigs like it's fucking nothing? Now, where are you?
I said it kind of lightly before. I want you to look me in the eye when I say it again because I know that you know that they believe this. But Dan, it's in the cloud.
They have some sort of streaming technology they bought, right? I mean, that wasn't...
You don't have to stream it, Bob.
Oh, no.
It's already in the magic of the cloud. The cloud will fucking connect your two Xboxes with an Ethernet cable. Those bit speeds will be fucking, I don't know, 8. I don't know what the good number is. It'll be a lot. The game will download fine. Microsoft isn't fucking me up the ass with horribly draconic policy, going both ways, an intentionally invasive camera that they have designed to circumvent all notions of civil liberty in a horribly, what's that word for you can see through it? Transparent.
Transparent. Yeah.
Horribly transparent, decades-long endeavor to enslave us in the most horribly Stanley Kubrick-esque. We're talking Blade Runner corporations run the world, wake up in a pod because you've been living in the Matrix sense.
Yeah.
People need to stop acting like Microsoft is our friend.
I know! God! So like that kills
I don't know.
me.
Maybe some people haven't been screwed by Microsoft since they were 10 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, but the Amish aren't allowed technology, so how could they be typing these articles?
You're right. Right. I mean, I'm sitting here, and how many times did the average 360 red ring?
There was a 70% failure rate. That was literally what they had to release.
Yeah. That's it. Corporations are not your fucking friends. Now, we here at GigaBoots, we like Sony shit. There's a reason for this. This gen, they learned to stop fucking us. They fucked us when they sold us the thing initially, and they've been trying really goddamn hard to make it better.
Now every time we sit on the couch with Sony, we know they're going to be looking down our shirt, and we know they're going to have a little Russian hands and Roman fingers, and they're going to diddle us. But really, honestly... if you're going to go to the party, if you're going to get a video game console, I'd rather take cold hands on my dick than getting fucked up the ass by a horse.
Yeah. Now, Agro, I want your opinion on
Xbox
this.
One. It's like getting fucked up the ass by a horse.
Yeah. I mean, I've done both, and I can tell you, it's pretty similar. Yeah, I guess the last topic on this before we move on to our roundtable of The Last of Us is the last note on this. There are a lot of people now who, now that Microsoft has announced that the Xbox One DRM has been removed, are like, yay, I'm getting an Xbox One instead of a PS4.
Right.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to try to say this calmly and just get through it. And then you guys say whatever. It's still, PS4 is still $100 cheaper. It's still a lot more powerful, and despite what people are telling you, it will be noticeable. Just wait till the Digital Foundry does their coverage of Call of Duty, which is going to be the most lazily ported thing. thus the most apparent. It's $100 cheaper. It's way more powerful, and it doesn't have a weird camera in your living room that none of the games shown off at E3 use anyways. Like, none of the core titles that people actually give a shit about.
That was used for TV.
Wasn't the Kinect that the main game? What, TV game?
Yeah.
Xbox One, now with TV game. Like, I don't understand the people who are like, Tony's been tweeting about how he's gonna rape this chick at the party all week, and then he started putting his hands on her, and like 3 different dudes went, no dude, don't rape her, that's not cool. And then he went, okay, and now he's the talk of the town again, and everybody's chummy with him. Why are you people so chummy with this goddamn rapist? And look up the word rape. It's not just sexual. The metaphor there, that was sexual. But
I'd like
Microsoft
to
is a rapist.
Talking about Luke and Laura's wedding earlier.
I know, right? God,
it's romantic, okay?
It's romantic when you try to marry a chick 2 years after you rape her.
Honestly, what we're seeing with a lot of people, going back to the Xbox, like, okay, now I can buy an Xbox. It's because they built up a shit ton of positive mind space in the market over the last generation. Just a fuck ton of it. Xbox was the fun one. Xbox was the one all your friends had. Xbox was the one that wasn't trying really hard to be something else. The Xbox was the one for normal people. That was the market space.
That's true. And to be fair, a lot of that came from being cheaper. Mm-hmm. And it's because these people still have the holdover of, but Xbox is the one fun one that all my friends have. Mm-hmm. That they're going to get this one that's more expensive, less powerful. And even the online play is more expensive. It has way fewer features.
That actually, because this generation's gone on for so long, there are people who've only played the Xbox.
Oh yeah, tons.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not weird. That's sick. There's a word for that. It's
true.
Sick. Everyone. I am not saying this because I am an old man. I'm saying this as a person who plays games from every generation equally. This was the worst generation. Next gen will be fucking fine. So many of the issues of this generation won't exist next gen. But holy shit, do not make your basis for a decision with next generation with this one in mind. Because the PS3 was a fuck up. And when they announced the PS4, they even admitted a PS3 was a fuck up.
But for the rest of my life, the PS3, it had Uncharted on it.
Right? Like, goddamn, does Sony do a good job of, we have these exclusive studios and they're making amazing shit. Meanwhile, Microsoft has turned out Forza, Gears of War, and Halo over and over and over again.
Which, honestly, I think that's a big thing of, Xbox is the one all my friends have. Well, what are you going to play on the PS4? Oh, shit. We have Destiny now.
Right. Exactly. And a lot of people, Bob was saying, because he works at a game store, just don't get.
Yeah, a lot of them don't get, one, that Gears probably isn't coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed it. They literally ended the trilogy, then made something that everyone hated. Yeah.
Well, so they did that twice? Because the third one, yeah, in any case.
Right.
Continue.
And Halo isn't being worked on by the people who made Halo. So, there's a lot of ho-hum results from Halo 4, and we're just going to see more of that. We're not going to see innovation in that game.
Here's the amazing...
They just announced it's not even a trilogy anymore for this Halo series. It's now a saga.
Halo 4 was going to be the first part in a Halo trilogy.
I remember that.
Yeah.
They just announced it's a saga.
This is like when Harmonix stopped making Guitar Hero and nobody knew it.
Yes, it is exactly like that. You people fucking annoy us. Pay attention.
Or, there should be this substrata of people on the internet informing regular consumer this in an easy to understand and to the minute way. We could we could collect this information in a sort of chronological method, kind of like a journal. What would we call people who do a thing like this? Douchebag hipsters?
No, wait.
No,
that's a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. A journaler?
I don't know. We'll call Kotaku and see if they can point us in the right direction.
Yeah, maybe it's just blogger. Maybe the word's blogger. Fuck this industry.
Fuck this cyst on the ass of this industry.
Yeah, well, I mean the journalists.
Oh.
The journalistic coverage of the video game industry is in and of itself its own industry, and
It's not an industry, it's hate in Ashbury. It's just a bunch of stinky-ass hippies at the free store pretending they're changing the world.
Yeah,
the weird part is they start to at the point where they start screaming sexism at everything because some YouTuber started screaming sexism at everything. Fucking George Kamitani, that whole thing with Kotaku. Vanillaware, the president of Vanillaware, got into a thing with Steve Totillo because Steve Totillo said, "I want character designs in my video games that aren't made by 14-year-olds."
Okay, that wasn't Steve Totillo.
That was Jason Schreier.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Sorry.
I know
it was Jason Schreier. He said, "I want character designs in my video games that aren't designed by 14-year-olds." And he posted pictures of Dragon's Crown. The president of a Japanese company. That got all the way to him. It's a tiny company. They have an impact, and it's fucking toxic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Jesus, like I say terrible things on this website.
It's pretty much his hobby.
But I don't try and... Oh my god. I say things that are just horrible by themselves. I don't spout vitriolic nonsense that attempts to pervert the very discussion I'm trying to be a part of.
Yeah, see, that's sort of Schreier's shtick at this point. He just keeps doing that. There's this GIF. Was it Patricia Hernandez or Schreier who posted it? I think it was Schreier, but it was this GIF of this dude standing in front of a camera at E3, and he's just doing a spiel, and you can see behind him a lady walk by in what is not at all business wear at all. She's wearing short shorts. She's showing off her stuff. She keeps walking. And by the way, I don't care if she didn't consider that showing off her stuff. They're short shorts. She was doing that, coincidentally. She walks away. The guy keeps talking into the camera, but then you see this guy in a suit walk into frame, basically spin while continuing to walk the same direction, look at her ass, and then keep turning.
All right.
This is the sexism that the industry has, according to that article. Like, that, those people are disgusting pigs. That man is perpetrating how disgusting, sexist, and horrible E3 is for a woman.
Dan, I know you've at multiple occasions given me permission to say basically whatever I want to on this site, but
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you that I'm going to say something that usually ends people's careers.
Yeah.
Any woman who calls a man a disgusting pig for being sexually attracted to a beautiful woman is a fucktard.
Yeah, basically. I mean, there are some horror stories out of E3. That wasn't one of them. Whoever posted that is perverting that discussion. It is a wild discussion. Like, it's noteworthy and it's interesting. I'm going to be honest here. People are people. The industry itself doesn't engender that. People are fucking horrible schmucks wherever you go.
Yeah.
There are always going to be people who get a little rapey at a party or whatever. Like, because that was one of them. Like, one of the horror stories was this, she worked in PR. She worked in marketing for a major game company, and she goes
the opening of a power ballad.
Wow. She goes to a bar, and she's there with 2 or 3 other guys, and she didn't notice when her friend left. And then the guys start getting touchy-feely in the bar, and she sort of freaks out and freezes up. And then they stop eventually, and she runs like hell.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not like... I'm going to be honest here, guys. Probably every industry in the world has that moment.
Yeah.
Like, there are disgusting fucks everywhere.
I mean, that's a huge event. How many people were at it? Yeah.
I think I should clarify in case anyone we hate is listening to this. What we're about to do is not say it's okay because it happens everywhere. Because that shit's not okay.
Right.
But it's not because it's the video game industry. And using an event like this to demonize character designs in a game and say these people are awful because they drew this because things like this happens makes you an idiot.
Yeah. That's basic. Yeah, good job, Aggro. Good job. Good job. Clap, you bastard!
Yeah.
Before I rape you.
You too! And that brings us to the Last of Us discussion. We'll be right back. 'Cause 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 Hey, and we're heading into the Last of Us Roundtable discussion. But first, I want to ask you guys. It turns out Dragon's Crown is not cross-buy. What are you getting it for? Are you getting Dragon's Crown for the Vita or the PS3? Because if we all do Vita, everything's fine.
Right. But
because we get to...
If just one of us does PS3, then we could all play on that. If it were cross-save, that would be easy.
Has that been confirmed that multiple players can play on one PS3?
I'm almost certain that they've said that.
Right, that would make sense. But at the same time, though, we couldn't then take those characters...
Right, to the portables.
Yeah, or even just on our own, because it would be on that guy's system.
It depends how much that game's focused on leveling, or if it's more like just
I would
round
hope,
to round.
Like, I really hope it's focused on leveling, because I see like that as a really good way to do that style of game. Hey, we should play through that first Dungeons and Dragons arcade game again. Not the second one. That one was horrible.
No, we just have to only play as the fighter and the thief, and then that game is fine.
I remember.
Oh no. What was it? Dungeons and Dragons arcade.
Or
the first one's called something of Mystara.
Yeah, Legend of Mystara, Record of Mystara, something like that. Legend of Cristania.
And then the second one's whatever. Yeah, I think it's Christiania.
No, it's not. That was an anime from the 80s.
Sure. By the way,
I'm
not going to say which major gaming website with an awesome podcast does it, but there is a major gaming website with a podcast where sure is the code word for I don't agree with you, you shithead, but I'm just going to say this word so you fucking move on.
Sure.
Sure. And they always say it in that tone. Sure. It's like they're chirping. Sure. I'm sure anyone who's listening to this news knows. Because if they're listening to the GigaBoots podcast, why wouldn't they be listening to the giant bombs? Oh. In any case, so now for the Last of Us round. Man, that is warmer than I expected. That light. I can feel it beating down.
Like an actual temperature or in color temperature?
An actual temperature.
We should really start coming up with like new words for things instead of repurposing old words for things.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't
it? Keep getting into trouble. I'm looking at you, entirety of computer science.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. In any case, so. But then, you alienate people even more because people are like, I don't understand this internets and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, but when you make it that obtuse and hard to get into, a lot of human achievement has been driven by the desire for secret knowledge. Our entire power structure is based on this. This is why religions and mystical orders have lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years. This isn't what we're talking about.
That was in The Last of Us, right?
The Last of Us...
The Last of Us is a game for the PlayStation 3 where you play as an old man who's fucking angry, and there's a 14-year-old girl. Kyle, what did you think of The Last?
The Last of Us is only not a perfect game in the same way that you cannot create a perfectly efficient engine.
Right. That's sort of the thing. Like, and I hear a lot of people who are like, you can't give games a 10, man. That means they're perfect. And I disagree with that. I think in the 8, 9, and 10, you see the discrepancy of like 8. And this is a pretty good game. If this is your thing, go ahead and try it out. 9. You should probably check out this game. This is a good game, and it's one of the better of these types of games. 10. You didn't fucking play blank. Mm-hmm. And that's to me at very least what that scale means.
Yeah, 10s should be this kind of virtuoso moment in game design, like Shadow of the Colossus. Mm-hmm. Fucking 10. Mm-hmm. Game's goddamn amazing.
High five.
You need to play it.
Fucking, what is it, 8 years now? I've been going on with, I fucking gave that game a 10 and I got shit for it, but fuck them.
So, okay. I love the shit out of the Uncharted games. You guys did too. Don't tell me if you didn't, because I'll disown you.
Well, I mean, 3 I gave up on halfway through. I'm going back to it now.
Yeah, like I played through it. 3's big problem was that it wasn't 2. And when I first,
how dare it?
When I first started,
you monster.
Honestly, it was. But when I first started playing The Last of Us, I saw 3, and I went, "Oh shit, are we doing this again?" But The Last of Us doesn't have Uncharted 2 hanging over it. I didn't expect Uncharted 2. It got to be The Last of Us, and it was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Which, it's fucking, look at the box, it says Naughty Dog. The game's gorgeous. The game looks great.
Yeah, the game is absolutely amazing.
Until you're on a horse going way too fast for the graphics.
You outran the graphics.
When you're on the horse, you're going way too fast for it, and like all of the terrain melts into view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I
Gets all unreal.
no. No, it doesn't. It just passes through this layer where it ups the everything it's doing. It doesn't gel until it's next to you,
Yeah.
like Unreal does. So man, how do I talk about The Last of Us? I was the one who's like, let's do a roundtable, and I don't know how to
I don't
tackle
know.
this topic.
Let's start this way. The Last of Us is
About expression and subtlety.
well,
That's how
let's
I
start
feel.
mechanically.
Okay, let's start mechanically.
It's sort of survival horror-y. It's got like the action gunplay shit. It's a lot.
Got sneaking. I'm like, it's
It
the
is
only
honestly
survival
one of
horror
the
with
best
sneaking.
stealth games I've ever played. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's-
Yeah. That's when I was talking to him. I'm like, The Last of Us feels like what Metal Gear Solid 4 wanted so hard to be.
I didn't want to use this phrase because it sounds like cocksucking editorial nonsense, but I kept getting the wow. This is kind of Half-Life crossed with Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. I can sort of see that, and
Where are
it
the
like
head crabs?
shrugs, and it.
That moan is in that game.
Yeah.
The fucking infected, the
clickers.
That's
no,
what
the runners.
The creepiest
the
thing
runners.
about
yeah,
those
the
runners.
clickers. They make that screaming noise that the head crab zombies did.
I
I was just gonna say that's one of the creepiest things. Those zombies aren't like regular zombies. They sound really human.
Yeah, they're the infected are amazing. Those fungal designs are great. I loved how like when you've got a huge fungal infection in a building, it looks like coral. It looks like deep sea vent shit. And then with all the spores going through the air, you get that nice aquatic, just very alien, very dangerous. I loved it.
Yeah.
The clickers with their head fungus, I had a beautiful moment where one ran at me in pitch black. My flashlight was off, so I popped a shotgun shell at it. I hit it like in the top of his head, took off all the orange shit, so now nothing was glowing and I couldn't see it. But I could still hear him and he was alive.
That's awesome.
I love how when you're sneaking, like a lot of games, there's always a trade-off between animation fidelity and the tightness of the gameplay. They just did both, and fuck it if they
That's
conflict.
Naughty Dog for you. I mean,
Yeah, that's the
Uncharted
amazing
was the first one to do that, and it's like,
Like
wait,
so,
what?
when your AI characters are just, especially Bill, when that motherfucker's like, keep it down, tromp, 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 tromp. So that's kind of weird, and like, yeah, he should be able to see my flamethrower sticking up over the chest high wall, but I executed the move properly, and it recognized that.
Yeah.
And while that may be immersion breaking, I guess, I appreciated that they brought both of those fully to the table.
Yeah, in a sense, it is immersion breaking when you really get into that. But at the same time, this sort of falls into that category of it's a video game. Like, I completely understand people losing like their verisimilitude over that. But that is just something that has to happen to make a good video game. Because the only way you could have not had a situation like that with the flamethrower and, you need to keep track of that, is to have a control system where you can keep track of that. And that would just Metal Gear Solid 4 up the game.
Yeah.
And, and like that's because their rule set is simple. And they stick to their rule set. It's in the stealth, in the combat, the rules are consistent.
Yeah.
I never felt like, what the fuck, how did he see me? If I fucked up, and he saw me.
Right.
But then I had a recourse, which was... I thought a lot about Lords of Shadow playing through that game. Because it is its opposite. In The Last of
The
Us...
first of them.
In The Last of Us, I am at one end of an area. My goal is to get to the other end. There are obstacles in my way. There's just an area and dudes. No matter what I do in the middle, if I reach the end, I won. And I did it my way. I could sneak past them. I could kill them all. I could start a huge gunfight. I could stealth a few. The game's like, here are your tools. Solve the problem. Unlike Lords of Shadow. Kill all of the enemies, but I can just grapple up this thing. But kill all of the enemies first. Why can't I grapple this thing before
Wrong
killing
tool.
the enemies?
The thing that really got me with The Last of Us, and this is sort of Naughty Dog's thing, their mocap technology is amazing. Their writers are fucking good.
The animations.
And the writing is so good in that There's actually a joke in the Luigi's Mansion review, and I haven't put it out. It is basically focusing on the fact, yeah, that video's been rendered for like 3 months. I'm just making you people wait. There's this joke in there about how when video games try to make me care, they all fail so massively. Because video games generally, when they try to do that, it is like screaming at the top of their lungs, care about this person and pointing at them. The Last of Us emotionally wrecked me so hard in the first 20 minutes that I have not been done like that by a video game in 18 years. Sorry, 13 years. Since about, oh my god, 1990. I'm old!
Just tell us the
Lufia
game.
2. And I knew what was coming in both situations. The opening of Lufia 1 is the entire fortress fucking getting wrecked and them dying.
Yeah.
The ending of Lufia 2. The trailers for The Last of Us clearly don't have his daughter. And yet the intro, I'm like...
Yeah, that... Okay, when I first started playing The Last of Us, I played it for like 4 hours straight. And because of a day one issue...
Because of a day one issue.
I lost all that save data.
Yeah.
It hurt. Now, because I didn't want to live through all that shit again.
Yeah.
When I booted the game back up...
He threw the controller at Road, didn't you?
Like, I was past the opening, like... It dropped me where I had to run up the hill with Sarah in my arms. That's where I had to restart. I had to do that all the way up through Tess and getting to Bill. Now, when when that first E3 trailer, when you're going through the hotel and he makes a Molotov and he throws it at a guy and like, oh shit, the guy's coming, and she brains him with a brick. We're like, yes, best sidekick character ever. And I knew the game was gonna try to get to me through her. So like you see, I'm like, I know she's coming, and I've got to block her out. I've got to. But fuck me if the simple emotional depth of these characters was not astounding and disarming.
Yeah.
That girl's awesome.
Yeah.
And not just because she stabbed a SWAT guy in his third vertebrae and saved my ass. Although that was really baller.
Yeah, see, that's sort of... I think that's why this game overcomes that sort of defense mechanism, not giving a shit, that I have in my brain for most video games. It is just very realistic. He's very subtle. He's very relatable instantly. Like, none of these characters are ridiculous over the top, like, I am the bad guy! Which is basically why Remember Me is a shitfest.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, do it like Uncharted 2 did.
Right? That was amazing.
Well, see,
that's why this one end was an infected man who was actually the entire breed.
Wasn't that like 8 hours build up to that guy being Vulcan levels of crazy?
Yes, it was.
But
like
see,
the first time they mentioned him, it's like, holy fuck, you pissed off who? But in The Last of Us, like, what a lot of times when a video game wants to care about someone, especially someone they're going to make you escort around forever, they try to... They just point at the character like an object and go, this is the thing you're supposed to care about because you're playing a video game. So clearly this is... she's blonde and she's in a princess dress. Clearly you care about her well-being.
Yeah.
Now, I guess we have to compare this to the other recent game that was basically a long-ass escort quest, BioShock Infinite, in which I am of the strong opinion, and more as time goes by, that I was the one being escorted. She keeps finding all the items. She keeps healing my dumbass. She keeps ripping open space and giving us new pathways.
Yeah.
I think I'm just the turret.
Yeah, and isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Ultimately. Have you? No, you haven't
it.
played it. Okay, I'm not spoiling that.
Ellie, for...
I think that someone already spoiled it for me anyway.
Oh, yeah, you do work at a game store.
That's right.
That's kind of comes with the territory.
Ellie endeared herself to me in two ways. One, I love the shit out of Joel.
Yeah.
I love that character. God, he's amazing. So her existing was adorable, and I love that girl. And then she was useful, and then she never got in the way, and then she was smart, and then she was helpful.
Yeah.
She became an asset. It's like if you took my flamethrower away. Because, like, you play video games, like, no, I remember the first thing I said when I lost my save data. I just got a shotgun for the first time.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah.
So she was, I mean, it sounds like it's a more crass thing to say, but she was part of my inventory. She was part of who I was in that game.
Yeah, exactly. I especially identify with the latter half of that. She was part of who you were in that game. And, like, the relationship between her and Joel is so fucking spot on, so fucking compelling. Because in most video games, holy shit, the writing doesn't get realistic characters even slightly. Like, they're nowhere near human. They're nowhere near relatable.
Yeah, which you saw it early on in Uncharted, and it developed, where it'd be this great action game with these little human moments in it. The Last of Us was just a connection of human moments. It was astounding.
Yeah, apparently, just a real quick factoid, this game was too large. Like, they made it larger than it should have been accidentally. So they had to rip the Uncharted 3 team. Like, as soon as they were done with that, they were like, are you done? Are you done? We need you. So for, like, at very least the last 6 months of development, the last 8 months, they were using those people, which is interesting because they should have been in the middle of making a PS4 game.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I still expect to see a Naughty Dog game at the end of next year, but The Last of Us, oh my god.
The basic controls for traversal and gunplay.
Yeah.
I love how it's your Uncharted template, but Joel's like 50.
Right.
So I kept trying to, like, Nathan Drake leap over ledges, and he'd go, huh, and just fuck it up. And I'm like, oh, sorry, bro, I forgot.
Right, I think they even make a joke in there near the end where he's like trying to jump over something. Like, yep, I'm not making that one.
Yeah, you try to make a leap from one platform to another, and you land in the water. And apparently, if you don't fucking make him dive under immediately, he comes back up and he goes, oh, I'm not making that jump. And it wasn't an amazing jump. Like, that's something I really appreciated. Like, it was so fucking realistic how... And I mean, here's the thing. I'm rather anti-realism in video games, but if the point of your video game is the story, then god damn it. Because, I mean, otherwise you have to go to Final Fantasy territory in order to be compelling. How many stories tall is Kefka? Oh, man. Oh, wait, that wasn't even him. What was the rest of that?
The inventory and the crafting system in that game is inspired.
Yes.
Like, I was explaining to my mother at dinner recently, which was interesting, how in video games there's a thing, and you watch it and it happens every time. You look at a Final Fantasy game clear save file, piles of elixirs. Piles of really powerful items. Because if the item's shitty, I don't want to use it. If the item's really awesome, I can't use it because I'll need it later. Yeah. I can overcome this. In The Last of Us, I found myself doing this. I wait 10 minutes for AI cycles to go through again so I could stealth kill the guy because I wasn't going to waste 2 bullets on him. But with their crafting system... Like, at the point at which I had 3 of everything and full crafting materials, played on medium, I eventually accrued it, because I wasn't using anything. I was just stealth killing everyone. And choking, no shivs. Shivs are for clickers.
Yeah. Fucking the AI partners keep shivving people. I'm like, dude!
But their knives aren't breaking. I know, because I don't hear the click.
Oh, that's true.
But,
I want some.
Of course, after you get 3 upgrades for that, then you get shivs 3 times before.
Yeah, there was one section where it's like it's dark and there are clickers everywhere. I'm like, I have 3 full durability shivs. I'm gonna eat these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I did that, and I was like, wait, I don't have shivs anymore. They aren't giving me knives. Oh, great.
But like the first time I went to pick up an item and it went full. I said, oh, I'll craft. I'm full. It turned that switch off in my mind, and I just started using items during my encounters.
See, that's pretty cool that it hit that point. For me, when there are human enemies, they'll oftentimes at the beginning of an area or in the middle of an area, whatever, they'll conspire at a point, and they'll just come together, and then they'll be like, okay, they're missing. We need you to go up here and do this, and I'll go over here and do that. And I would let them fully make their plans, and then hit them with a Molotov cocktail, because nothing is more satisfying than that. Like, it was for nothing!
God, the search pattern AI in that game was awesome. I loved how they'd be like, you go over here, I'll go over here. And the listen mode was glorious, because that was the best possible way I can think of to have implemented that. Like, yeah, no, Joel's hiding behind a wall and I can't see, but he can pretty much hear where they are.
Right, and I mean, that's one thing, like so many Cells games this gen especially been cruel to stealth games. Almost all of them let you just look through walls and see exactly where everyone is, and I'm like, that's not even fun anymore.
God, like when you pop into listening mode and they're all like behind you, so all you see is the bottom of your screen with white light. Like shit.
Yeah, and then when there's someone like on the next story up, you're like, oh, are they right in front? Oh no, they're up there.
Yeah, like I like okay, and then I lean out a little bit and turn it off, and okay, all I see is wall. Okay, they're not here. So yeah, it didn't break the stealth. It was something that was helpful, and I immediately pumped points into expand listen distance.
Yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Because I know that's sort of the same territory as seeing through a wall, but no, it was very different.
Right, you actually just only hear those steps. They have to move. There's rules behind it. It's not just, you can see everything.
Yeah.
You can just fly up to the ceiling and look at them. Why not? They're not going to see you up there. You're Batman.
God, there was something so viscerally satisfying about just waiting for them to come into the... And every now and then, I'd be on the wrong side of a doorway, and he'd come in at a wide angle and just go, oh, shit! And just pop a shotgun at me.
I thought I could grab him before the shotgun went. I was wrong.
And when they find a body, when they're up, they're looking. You can't grab them. And I love how the game lets you know when that's on.
Yeah, with the music and that.
Yeah.
There was only one time when I felt like the game didn't inform me of something properly. Yeah. And it was one time in an entire AAA video game.
Right?
The scene...
That's the antithesis to Lords of Shadow.
Okay. Right? So the crazy cannibal people.
Yeah.
Which, their main guy, name of David, Nolan North.
Yeah. I know.
I didn't pick up on that.
No,
at all.
No one did.
So I finished the game and the credits are rolling. I'm like, Nolan North was... Who the fuck is David? I whip up my phone and I look it up. Holy shit! But when you're playing as Ellie, which, God, I love that segment.
Right, that was my favorite part in the game.
That was like the first time I really used the bow.
I used the bow through it.
Like, I used the bow a couple of times, like when I first got it, and then a couple of times after. I didn't really rely on it.
They just didn't give arrows for a lot of it, so I was limited in use too.
Yeah, it was actually, that was one of the things where I'm like, no, it's range stealth, the bow is too awesome. I'll save it for when I need it. Because if I can, I'm going to get over there and choke him out. But... yeah, just like running, ducking over shit, pop an arrow at this guy, pop an arrow at that guy. The aiming with the bow, like the draw time, the sway, the arc, arrow recovery. God, that was like the best bow ever. But when you're in the restaurant,
it wasn't the most OP bow ever. That was Tomb Raider.
It
was amazing.
Like you can kill most humans in one shot. Clickers, you got to hit them right. Loved it. When you're in the big Texas-style restaurant with David, and he sets it on fire and he's looking for you. I go up, and like, okay, I'm hiding, and there's plates on the ground, and like, I love that shit because they taught you that if you step on things, it'll make noise thing when you're hunting the deer earlier. I went up, and I knifed him. And I ran away, and then I got back into the second time, and I knifed him the second time. And he'd taken a couple shots at me, so I was low on health. And I'm like, okay, we're going to fucking do this. And I knifed him the second time, and I'm standing there in full control of Ellie, and he's staggered. So I go to knife him again. But no, I have to run away, and we need to do this a third time. So the game tells me no, and he machetes me in the face.
Machetes are the best way to convey no as a concept. No! No dessert before dinner!
Yeah, that was like the only time it happened, and I'm going to go 50-50 on that one. Like, maybe I just didn't get what was going on.
True that they're earlier in the levels, like playing as Ellie, they were teaching you, you really can't melee people. They're going to hit you the first time. If you melee them
like
twice,
they'll always smack you. Yeah, I guess you're right. I love when did you stealth melee Shiva guy?
Yeah, where she like goes crazy.
That's fucking nice.
I love that she just has that knife the first time you meet her. That's her knife, and she's always using it whenever. Like sometimes I'd sit in the corner and just watch what the AI characters would do, and every now and then she just pulls out her knife and like cleans it off and then puts it away.
I wish that Joel had a knife and didn't have to build shivs.
Steel's rare.
I also wish I hope that I haven't played it through multiple times yet, so I hope that once you beat it on like hardest difficulty, they give you the golden axe, which never expires.
Oh god, the axe was so awesome.
My favorite moment of the game is when Joel wakes up. That was so amazing. I'm like, where is it?
Because I realized, like, I'm looking at the game, sort of out of the experience objectively, thinking, like, okay, this is the part of the narrative where I realize now lesser writers would try and convince us that, because, like, Joel's not perfect, but that's not the point of his character. It's not this, like, face heel turn of, oh, Joel's a sadistic bastard who's got a soft spot for a girl. Like, no. They kidnapped Ellie Joel's gonna torture these guys for, like... I have this thing when I play video games. Sometimes I identify as the main character. Sometimes I feel like I'm just helping the main character through his thing. I usually identified as Joel in this game. For that scene, I felt like I was standing in the corner with my arms crossed, grinning.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Because there was that, and then later in the hospital, when, Marlene gives him the, march him out to the thing, and, like, he's on the ground. He looks up, and he opens his eyes. And a shudder ran through me as I realized every person in this hospital was dead.
Right.
I can, just to backtrack just a smidge, the diner, Texas diner. I don't know if it's because the way the game built to there, probably Ellie's, as Bob was talking about, inability to physically overwhelm people with melee, her lack of huge wardrobe of weapons, or the fact the place was on fire and a literal pedophile is chasing after me. But that was terrifying.
Yeah,
I was literally
horrifying.
I was playing in a room with Bob and my girlfriend. And, me, I don't shut up ever. I keep cracking jokes and stuff. So about halfway through the game, it got less tense because of that. But at that moment, I'm just fucking scared.
Yeah.
Like, it is just very tense. You are so fucking, like... Because of the way the camera's managed, too. You don't see where he is from a mile away.
Yeah, you like, right. The time he got me in the face, it respawned me, and I spent a good 30 seconds. Where the fuck is he? But yeah, that part was horrifying. I was having, like, Jurassic Park 1 flashbacks. I'm like, can I just get raptors? I'd feel a lot safer if there were raptors here.
But yeah, the hospital, I guess. Let's nurse this man who trekked this bitch across the country for a fucking year back to perfect health and say, hey, we're gonna kill her.
What were they thinking?
Like,
Honestly...
Stockholm Syndrome, it goes both ways.
Her telling Joel, she feels she owed it to him. She figured, probably completely rationally figured that he would agree that we're going to save humanity here. This is the right thing to do. I was really worried that there was going to come a point where up on screen it would flash press square to kill her, press triangle to save her. I was worried they were going to give me a binary choice.
Yeah.
Because I had already made a decision. And the ending in that game was as good as I could have ever hoped for, because it's exactly the decision I made anyway.
Now, see, here's the amazing thing. They actually did some, what do you call that?
Focus group testing?
Focus group testing.
Awesome. I was hoping so.
With the ending, and everyone was like, that ending's bad. You gotta change it. You gotta change the ending. And they're like, okay.
And then some glorious person with balls.
They're like, okay, how do you want us to change it? And they're like, we just want the choice. Well, what would you choose? I would choose to do that anyways. And they just look at them like, what?
Which, honestly, yeah, it's one of those things where we have so much choice in video games now that you'd figure we'd get a choice. Mm-hmm. But
no.
Yeah, that was
internally. There's no choice there.
You aren't driving Joel. You are on the Joel train through Murder Town.
Oh God,
which is about 3 floors tall.
I had just gotten to the hospital. I paused the game and I went to go get some water. And I was walking through the room and Ro was in there and she asked me, so how's it going? And I turned and I said, for as many soldiers as I've killed, you'd think I'd have an M16 by now. And 5 minutes later, I got the M16 and I think it was a piece of garbage.
I didn't even get to shoot that thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, before the game ended, I was just like, I didn't actually pull the trigger yet.
Like, I used it once, and, like, you have to pour so much lead into these soldiers to kill them with that. It was trash. It was useless to me, except for one instance where I threw a smoke bomb at 3 of them and just poured lead till I stopped hearing grunts.
One thing this game did that I thought was not only risky, but paid off really well. In development, they were really worried, like, we don't have conventional bosses. We don't have bosses at the end of levels. Is this going to be all right? Is that okay to do? And, I like that the end of the game isn't some stupid super beast.
I was wondering how, are we going to find Fungus Prime or some shit? The Fireflies built this horrible monster for no reason.
This hospital is Metal Gear.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
I was expecting a tougher encounter than I ran into, but when Dan got to that hospital segment, he had a lot of trouble with it.
Most people I've been talking to about it were stuck there for a good bit.
A lot of the hospital segment, and this is what I love about the whole game, a lot of these sections depend upon how you attack them.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, just... One of the things that, like, I think you said in a tweet, like this is the Resident Evil 4 of this generation. Get ready for The Last of Us did it better. Because they did it goddamn near perfect.
Yeah.
Like, when you're in I was in one of the, when you're in the city with all the hunters. They have these huge sections with multiple buildings and a bunch of shit on the ground, and you can go anywhere and do anything. And like when I get into a fight and then I run from the fight, it's not because I feel overmatched. It's because I need a better vantage point, or I'm setting a trap, or I'm going to thin them out. The entire experience is tactical every step of the way.
Yeah.
You get to make meaningful choices and execute your strategies.
That section of the game is so perfectly executed. It just feels like. The watershed moment for Resident Evil 4 was the village scene at the beginning, where it was just here's this huge village that's never been done well in a video game before. We're gonna have AI running all over it, and The Last of Us pulls that off multiple times, like perfectly throughout the fucking game. And that was one of them that was absolutely excellent. Of like snowy fucking village, you can't fucking see anyone.
City, yeah.
Yeah. It's just so damn amazing that you just get to choose wherever you go, and you get to tackle it right. And if they start catching up to you, you can run like hell.
the snowy village with or the snowy city with the cannibals. Do you remember when I was playing Uncharted 2 and I started saying terrible things?
You're aggro, so.
Well, no, it's like I was in a particularly difficult section. I kept dying, and so I was getting mad at the AI. And I got a headshot, and what came out of my mouth is, I hope you had a family.
Yes.
Now, I want you to think back to the Snowy City section.
Yes.
They just kidnapped Ellie.
Uh-huh.
I went to a very dark place.
Yeah. Because that's where the Joel train was headed anyway.
And right before that, something happened that I had been waiting to happen in a video game my entire life.
What was that?
I killed 2 dudes, and the rest of them went, shit, run away, don't let him get you.
See, here's the thing. I had a very similar moment. I believe it's when you're playing as Ellie escaping the house where Joel's being kept. And they send in some people. And you kill, like, the first 2. And you run to that lower area by the shore. Mm-hmm. And they just fucking go, okay, David sent us out here to get such and such. Wait, isn't that the bitch who killed tons of our dudes by now? Fuck that guy. Let's kill her.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And like, I know for Joel it's supposed to be this I Am Legend moment of like, you're the real monster, and you know what? I took it. I shouldered it. Yeah, I am. Let's do this.
Yeah, like I kept calling him Hatchet Jack from about 2/3 in because I got a
that
hatchet.
axe fucking rules.
Doesn't it though?
The first guy with an axe comes at you in the at the university. You take his axe and you kill the next guy. Like, the axe is awesome. After that, I would just kill people for their axes. I'd be like, all right, this one's down durability. Oh, you had an axe.
Thank you.
I just left a trail of bodies and half durability axes from the university to the hospital. Oh God. The
Last of Us Roundtable, where we gush about The Last of Us.
Right, because that's what you have to do. This game's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, talking about why it's awesome is more important than. Let's just say there's a review on Wired.com that's horrible.
Yeah.
The entire, like, I didn't know it was a review. And in fact, I think retroactively they changed it from being a review. Because it doesn't read like a review at all. It seems less like a guy's trying to make an assessment of the game and more like he's trying to make a statement on the industry through the game. He's like, the game is cowardly because it doesn't not have guns. Because games with guns sell. Like,
oh, it's just some fucktard. Okay.
No, here's the thing. The guy's been in the industry for like 20 years or some shit. He tried to relate this back to a behind-the-scenes video of them saying, how about we make something like this? And it was a space shooter, and some guy's like, we can't make that. And then some guy counters him with, but whatever his name is, let's say it's Tom. But Tom, space shooters sell. He's relating The Last of Us to that.
Yeah,
because shooters sell.
Some fucktard.
he doesn't understand that in your average video game, it's about killing all the dudes. And in this, it is really just about survival. And it feels very well like it accomplishes that. There are a couple moments where it forces you to fight. But that's because you're being forced to fight. That's not, and he thinks it's a failing of the game. That is not a failing of the game. It is failing on you to identify that the game is making you do something, and that's okay.
I remember when, what's the name of the woman who wrote Uncharted?
Amy Hennig.
Yes.
She didn't pen this.
Yeah, no, I remember when she said, like, one of our problems is that Nathan Drake is this lovable average guy who kills 200 people. She's like, we need to figure out a way to fix this. And then, like, the footage for The Last of Us came out. I'm like, oh, this is how they fixed that.
Right?
He's not lovable or average. He's just a guy.
Fucking the first half of the game, I was calling him Ludo for Ludonera Dissonance. He fixed it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't know, you don't want your overly likable hero with your murder porn? Okay, how about just murder porn with some sick fuck with an axe? Like, and that's what I love about the game. The game is really nice character piece.
Yeah, and, like, I think this is going to be one of those things we're going to reference forever when talking about the kind of subject matter and the issues that games are allowed, heavy air quotes, to talk about.
Right.
Watching Ellie as a character is fascinating because she's a 14-year-old girl who was raised after the end of the world. And she's still a 14-year-old girl, but she is, like, she'd be badass today. She's just a 14-year-old girl there.
Right.
She carries a knife and she brains dudes in the head with a brick. As the story progresses and she keeps killing people, it's like, I tried to make it out like a metaphor for games desensitizing us to violence, but really it's just starkly human.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to describe this game. It is starkly human.
Yeah. I can see it. Sure.
There's the whole section with Henry and Sam. Like the black guy and his younger brother.
Oh, right. I caught Sam's name. I didn't remember.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the older guy's name? Then I like listened for it. Like, okay, it's Henry. As soon as they showed up, did anybody think they were going to live through this?
No.
I honestly didn't know.
Like, I saw him and I'm like, I'm not going to like you. I already like her. I'm not going to like you because you're going to die. And then I liked him. Because as dark as the game is in its setting, there are just these amazing points of light in it. Just these beautifully happy moments. Because it's just humans living in this fucked-to-death apocalypse, and we adapt. We still have to laugh at things because we'll die if we don't. So they still have fun and they still tell jokes. And it's like I said, just this amazingly human moment, and then you have this fucking awesome section where you're sneaking through a suburban town to get to the sniper's nest and then use the bolt action sniper rifle on a succession of dudes with guns, and then the Humvee, and then the guy with the Molotov, and then the infected show up. God, that was cool.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me, did you ever get to the end of Ish's story? You were picking up notes from him the entire game.
Yeah, I want to talk about Ish. Like, I picked up Ish in the boat.
Right.
That's where he starts. The thing. Yeah, I caught another note from Ish in that town.
Yeah, he was also the one living inside the sewers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
He's
from the boat to the sewers, then in the town with the sniper rifle.
Right.
I never heard anything from him after that.
I think that was the last time I heard from him too, and it was like, it wasn't an ending.
Yeah, it was like, I got out with one of the chicks and a couple of the kids.
Right.
I'm in the house like, fuck yeah, Ish. Ish, you are my rock.
See, I love that the game went through so much just to establish that as a universal setting, like that as a universe in that sewer. Like, this is where they lived, and here are these things, and like it's
it honestly
really well
reminded me a
developed.
lot of old Resident Evil, where you just find those notes.
Yeah.
And it actually has some bearing.
And it
love
does
the
it
notes.
well.
They do a lot to build the world, but sometimes, a couple of times, it was like, why the fuck are you writing this down? Put this down and pick up a barricade or something.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it was
holy shit, they're clawing through the doors.
still not here yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave as soon as I irk.
The smuggler's note. That was the one where it's
Right.
like, this guy's not here yet. Why are you writing this down?
He's updating his Twitter stats. They use real birds in the future to fly the notes everywhere.
God, like, I feel bad that I didn't, like, find all of the locked doors and I didn't find all the things, because I was...
Diligent.
Methodical. I'm
Right.
like, we're surviving. I need all the shit I need to survive.
Yeah, I was surprised by some of the unique animations they made just for finding random things in random areas. Like, did you find the attic?
Which attic?
There was literally like an attic door you could pull down, and then you threw Ellie up there, and she got you something.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, they made a
Nice.
nice animation from opening up the attic and it breaking off, and it was like, what? For a Shiv upgrade.
I gotta ask you, did you notice that the main character was the same voice actor as the main character from Bioshock?
No.
That guy's really good at that.
Yeah, I couldn't... I had Texas in my vowels for like a week. Fucking...
He's also the main character of Infamous Second Son, coming out in spring, or
Nice.
first quarter next year.
One of
And,
the things...
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that was all the same guy.
Another one of the many things this game did very well, which, you know, it's one of the core things in video game design, or I guess at least it used to be when game design was a lot simpler. The power curve versus difficulty of enemies was amazing. Because you start out and you have runners and clickers. And you can fight the runners, no problem. The clickers, you better have the right equipment. You need a melee weapon or enough bullets and enough room to put them down. And then you get enough upgrades and you can defensively shiv a clicker, or you can stealth shiv a clicker, and then there are more clickers and you get more equipment, and then there's a bloater, and it's just the way they space the encounters, and then humans with guns, and they throw that in. I always felt like, because like every time they gave me a new tool, like they gave me the flamethrower. And it wasn't awesome a flamethrower. It was, what the fuck am I supposed to kill with this?
I found the answer was everything.
Honestly, I only used it like that one time. Like I went upstairs in that building and there are like 5 of you. And it was, I didn't put any parts into it to get its range up, so I never used it much.
Yeah,
I always
held
had it
up the
ready.
range fast.
Like I usually had it ready. Like whenever I was sneaking, I had the bow and arrow and the flamethrower. So if I fucked up and they ran at me, I had the flamethrower.
Did you upgrade your health?
Yeah, both times.
Okay. Me too.
Yeah, I went for that and listening distance.
My goal is survival. This is literally a meter full of survival.
It's like that and healing speed.
I think I only upgraded Shiv defense stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I did.
and listening distance, because
It was like, upgrade your crafting speed. Okay. Why am I crafting in the middle of combat? Because I
Right.
didn't craft before.
Right.
And honestly, crafting in the middle of combat's part of it. I did it a couple of times. We're like, fuck, I found enough shit to make another nail bomb. Quick. Whoop.
See, another thing, not to really ream the only negative review out there that I found, but another thing the Wired review, quote, quote, because I think retroactively they removed that status.
Yeah.
But the domain name ends in The Last of Us -review. But they said the crafting system was completely pointless and flaccid, basically. And I'm like,
Yeah, so it's
no.
just some fucktard.
right.
Yeah, like, how can you not understand that was one of the best crafting systems? Because there's so much, what's the term? It's so desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not like you have a
scarce.
huge set of things to
Yeah,
make,
exactly.
or you're not upgrading things constantly. It's just, I have the stick. I'm going to put blades on the end of it because that's all I can do right now.
Because that's what I got.
Yeah.
I
never had
constantly
blades near the end of the game.
I constantly made the decision of like health pack or Molotov. Are these 7 guys I could kill with one Molotov
Yeah, I
going
did
to
them evenly.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I figured, it's like it's like building a deck in a CCG. You can use this card to heal yourself, or you can use this card to kill things that would hurt you.
I think the only thing that really bothered me about the lore was the fact that zombies biting you turned you. Like, I thought that was clashing with the way that spore clouds infected people.
Well, yeah, you get infected. Fungal infections happen 2 ways. One, you inhale the spores, and the shit grows in your moist-ass lungs.
Mm-hmm.
The biting, though, that shit, it's in their blood. It's in their brain. It's in their mouth and their saliva. Their heads are all fucked up with the fungus. It's where most of the fungus is their heads. So when they bite you, it gets directly into your bloodstream.
Right, but you've gone into those spores with open wounds and stuff. Yeah.
See, that's the part that
That's the part
bugs.
that bugs me. It's like,
Well, if you want to get bugged,
going-
bugged by he like walks out of the building. You can still see the spore cloud, and he's like, "Everything's cool, mask off."
yeah, he
that
does
bug.
go on off of the mask way too fast sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, just can you swim underwater with a gas mask? I don't know if that would destroy the mask or not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask some Navy SEALs.
But yeah, so I'm just writing it off as they have a Venom.
Right.
That's how I'm doing it in my brain because I had to make that decision rather early on.
But one thing that's really commendable in this game, if you get bitten, the game is over.
Yeah.
This is the only game with zombies that does that.
I
hate zombies, but yeah, if they do that right, then that works.
Yeah, because, you were bitten by a zombie, but you got this much health bar, and they always write it off as, you're immune. That's the only way we can fucking make a game. And I really do love a video game where it's just like, you made one mistake. You're dead now.
Yeah, that's
survival
in the post-apocalyptic
world.
world.
Hotline Miami, gunpoint.
Yeah, it's just really delightful when a video game does that because then, the sets in this were so modular, like they were so periodic. Like this is a set, and this is a set, and this is a set, and you clear these sets. It can very easily like you got murdered. You're starting at the beginning of that encounter, like, and that's why it's good. If it set me back 2 encounters, like a bad video game,
and it'll set you back in the middle of an encounter.
Yeah.
Except one time it did it to me, and I was in a part of the room I hadn't been to yet. So I'm like crouched behind some chair. I'm like, where the fuck am I?
I had that happen twice, I think, and yeah, that was really.
When you first get out of the city, and it's you, Tess, and Ellie, and you're in the ditch, and the cops are looking for you, or the soldiers are. I'm sitting there, like leaned up against a wall with a guy with a flashlight and his gun above me looking around, and I'm like, I have not felt this tense during stealth since Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, that's the only thing that broke the immersion there for me was Steve Bloom was just like, where are you? I was like,
I didn't hear him then. I heard him at the hydroelectric dam when he's like, lower it a little more. I'm like, hi Bloom, I've been looking for your ass.
If you play multiplayer, you get to play as Bloom, so it works.
Nice.
Fucking. Okay, so very simply, like, I know we just spent this long gushing about how awesome the game is. What about it specifically? What do you think is the number one thing we're going to repeatedly, over time, much like Resident Evil 4, point back at this game and go, that did that way better? Like, what element of this, what nature of it, or what specific mechanic? Because people will probably be able to pick up and learn from the crafting system pretty well. Of like, you got to make that match the game.
Gonna get
perfectly.
Poorly, pretty hard.
Oh yeah, no. The whole beginning of next gen is going to be like hyper violent, stupid things.
Yeah, like there are 3 basic things that this game does very right. Its writing and characters are stunning and immaculate and stellar, and I don't give a shit if no other game for the next 10 years does it this well. I don't. And if they try and fuck it up, that's even worse.
Yes.
It is excruciatingly fair. This game sets you some rules, and it gives you some tools, and it does not deviate from plan. So no matter what it threw at me, I knew I could get around it. I knew I could go through it or over it and conquer it because it gave me the tools to do this, or run away and run around it.
So you think when a game bullshits you in the future, you're probably going to point at this one specifically and be like, The Last of Us wouldn't have done that, you dipshit.
A game can be really complex and really hard and be really fair.
Which I think this proves more so than any game this gen has done.
God Hand was advertised doing that. I don't know if it was 100% fair, but...
Right, I mean, even in action games, we've deviated a good bit from being perfectly fair, I feel. Personally.
Yeah, I think that there's things in Ninja Gaiden where they added that randomness to the combat in 2. It has lingered in the series since.
But that's sort of...
Heard it.
But that's sort of... That may come from the fact action games are always clocked at 11. Like, there's so much going on that it can be completely random because you're fighting like 2 dudes intensely and you didn't notice that guy like a mile away on that ledge with a rocket launcher.
No, I was referring more to the limb system where you can do the certain moves that would normally kill a guy, but there's only a like 90% chance of actually killing him. So you no longer know, okay, I can do this exact combo and that'll finish him off and I can move on to this one.
Yeah, like it fucking in The Last of Us, if I shot a guy with the pistol, like the automatic, I put 3 bullets in him. Not counting headshots. With the revolver, it was 2 bullets. I knew this all the time. I never really figured out that number on clickers because I was just shooting and shooting and shooting until they died.
Right.
Right. Once I got the shotgun, I was like, my
Yeah.
anti-clicker gun.
Oh god, the shorty. I fucking love that thing.
Yes.
Like
The pistol,
god,
okay.
Yes.
the Diablo.
It's just-
I used that thing on bloaters. Every now and then I use it to snipe, but honestly, like when I heard a bloater coming, I drop a nail bomb, hit him with a Molotov, and put Diablo rounds into him until he dropped. Which I love how your character's like, just go down.
Yeah. So okay, I can see
God,
that.
those killing animations for hitting bloaters. Oh, that was.
Oh,
Where they grab
you-
both sides of your jaw and just.
Yeah, when you die,
I
to
didn't
a
get killed
bloater.
by him.
Oh, he
Oh.
beats you with his hand, like in the head repeatedly, picks you up, puts his hands in between your teeth, and pulls.
Jesus.
And you go, ah! And then you get 1, maybe 2 frames of your jaw actually separating.
And you hear the click as it goes.
Yeah,
back
the
and-
crunch.
Yeah, those
bone.
things, I didn't get, like, the first time you fight one, you're in this open sunlit gym, and it's scary. The second time you encounter one, like, you fucking rev that generator in the dark underground of a hotel that's semi-submerged, and cramped quarters in the dark, and he just comes at you, and I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't reach for my inventory. I was just, like, limping away like a retard into a corner, like, no, just make the nightmare go away.
That was actually the exact area where I got spawned in some part.
Oh, God.
And I was like, where am I? What's going on? I'm now more scared. So yeah, I think you're right. It is just going to be. I think I'm going to lean towards the writing. It is going to annoy the piss out of me over the next 3, 4, 20 years when video games come out and they're like, it's about how human the story is. And then it's going to be Uncharted, basically.
like this is a flagship for, yes, games can handle material that's actually mature, that is advanced, that is thought-provoking, that's emotionally tormenting. Like Rochelle, she's after the scene where Tess dies, she's like, God, it's a video game.
Yeah. And now I keep flashing back to remember me. There are segments after each level where your character does horrible things. Like, this isn't ambiguous. It's horrible. She drowned hundreds?
Yeah.
Hundreds
Thousands,
of people.
maybe.
I think they said hundreds, like
Okay.
200 plus.
In a row?
She was the key behind unlocking a dam, which flooded a city and killed hundreds. Confirmed. I think
Right.
more were missing. But yeah. And then she spends the whole segment in between levels going, I'm not sure why I'm doing this anymore. I don't know if this is really moral. And then she does it with no qualms whatsoever once the level starts. And I'm like, having a person piss and moan at me, the player, in between levels, pretending very poorly that they have emotions and they're thinking about this is not the same as incorporating into the story properly in the gameplay. Like The Last of Us did.
Yeah, like-
It is just going to be even more of a nuisance now that somebody has done it pretty much fucking perfectly.
It was like a lot of times in video games, I don't want to kill all of the enemy soldiers. Like in Metal Gear 3, I tried not to kill him because I had a horrible experience where he was waking up and like I had to stab him with a knife and it was bad.
No.
Time, one of the hunters in the city, like not the cannibals, but the hunters. The first time I broke a piece of wood on his ear, he went down, looked up, put a hand up and went, no. My heart died. I put a round in his head because fuck that guy.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first games that really just, you want to kill these guys. They're bad dudes.
Yeah, and you know what?
and
So
it's-
are you,
right?
but fuck them.
But especially with those cannibals, that was like with their moment of, we can have Joel do anything he wants to these people. He made them the worst.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, this is basically a Tarantino game. They very, very well motivate you to just revenge murder.
Yeah, because Joel's a bastard, but he's not a fucking bastard.
Yes.
I love how it's not like this huge section of the game of flashbacks of Joel did terrible things. Just, looks he gives and things he does. And that one conversation with his brother Tommy when he says, I kept you alive. I still have nightmares about those years.
Yeah. God, that game. Okay. Any last comments?
I still haven't played the multiplayer. I hear it's fucking awesome.
That's what I hear too, and I still haven't played it.
It's pretty cool.
It's
It's
pretty cool.
I'm not gonna say
I hear it basically it hinges on not being teamed with fuckwits more than any other video game, probably.
Yeah, it's very Counter-Strike in that regard.
Yeah, it's very Counter-Strike and it's 4-on-4.
Yeah, 4-on-4.
So you better have a pretty well put together team.
I'd play an entire bow hunting game made on this architecture.
Yeah. That segment was really awesome. Like I delighted in that moment in the game.
In the first wood segment with Ellie, I tried to shoot a rabbit with a hunting rifle. I'm going to lay that out there. It didn't work, and I was a little disappointed.
There you go. We've now docked you to a 9.2. No 10 for you, mister. Do you agree with the concept I have of 10 really should just be it's a watershed moment in gaming? It's
yeah, you
just
shouldn't reserve 10 for nothing. Like, no, they're like, this game's a 10. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a perfect anything.
right.
But this will be put on the shelf with the greats.
Wait, so those $1,500 headphones aren't perfect?
Fuck.
My life is ruined.
was one thing. I don't think I can look forward to a sequel. Like I
hope there isn't
Yeah,
one.
I don't want a sequel.
There better not be one.
Naughty Dog. Kurt, I hope you're listening. We do not want a sequel. Go back to Uncharted. We want sequels.
Now, I
You
read
wanted
the
a
shit
sequel.
out of some in-universe comic books or novels, but
And those are out there, right?
Yeah, there
those-
are comic books.
Okay,
There's a
good.
prequel
Like-
story that it explains Ellie's best friend that died with her.
honestly, I sat there not tweeting because it's more than 140 characters. Just shit like I think I did tweet one of them actually. Just I was sitting there for like 10 minutes wondering if that shiny square object was shotgun shells or a brick. There's 2 clickers and I've only got 1 shiv. Sure could use some shotgun shells though.
Now that brick's gonna save you. But real quick, yeah, I'm on the same page. No sequel for The Last of Us. That would just
Yeah, I mean, make something else. You don't. It doesn't. Not even the universe same, but I mean, ignore new IPs if anything.
and I honestly feel, which by the way, people are saying there's gonna be a sequel because it's an IP. I'm like, IP doesn't mean franchise. Game journalists are retarded. The largest motif of GigaBoots.
Honestly, that's just pattern recognition. Does the game exist? Yeah, it'll have a sequel.
Yeah.
So
It was
here's the
successful.
thing.
Somebody's gonna have to
I think-
fight hard for there to not be a sequel.
I think the important thing for Naughty Dog to do is to create more experiences like The Last of Us that are not called The Last of Us, because that engenders that thing we were talking about earlier of it's really important to keep track of developers. And if one developer does that enough times, they by themselves get to be like when a movie comes out, it's like directed by.
Yeah, we get auteur status when they let him do whatever the fuck he wants. And he'll make a couple of great games until he goes insane with power and freedom and makes some weird artsy bullshit that nobody likes. And then he yells at us because you just don't understand my game. No, you went insane. Stop this.
Hey man, stop harshing Kubrick, man. That's just not cool. But yeah, I really do want them to make more IPs, and I definitely want a sequel for Uncharted. I want to see Uncharted on a PS4 scale. I need this.
You mean on the Vita scale?
No. Even that didn't work out well for it. Especially not written by the people. I mean, it was written by Hennig, like, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, Hennig was on the phone with them every day. Like, what? No, Nathan Drake wouldn't do that. But, no, it's cool. He's just gonna poop. He's gonna poop on him.
He's gonna go into a box with a 13-year-old. Like he's not Solid Snake. He wouldn't do some shit like that.
Okay, that wasn't Solid. That was Naked. He's
You
pedophile.
almost can't enjoy Metal Gear Solid 5 because of that.
I want you.
Good thing no one played that one.
I'm pretty sure the whole point is Snake is a bad guy.
Bob, I want you to look at me, and I want to believe when you tell me that you don't think I would have a strong enough argument that they're all the same person. With how loose and bullshit the writing in that series is, that I could not construct that.
You could probably construct that, okay? I'm not saying you can't.
Honestly,
So really, is The Last of Us the antithesis to Lords of Shadow, or is it the antithesis to Metal Gear Solid?
it's the antithesis to Lords of Shadow. Metal Gear Solid's still really fun. It's got a lot of great sections, and the gameplay is cool.
Have you played 4 anytime remotely recently?
No, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
let's
remember
not talk
having a
about
lot of
4.
fun.
No, I remember. I implore you. to go play it.
Dan, this isn't about 4. This is about the good ones.
I know. And 3 was amazing. 3 was basically The Last of Us of that generation. Like, 3 was really well done. But 4, like, I remember 4 was like, that was weird and slightly disappointing at the end of it, but I enjoyed it.
I remember, like, the bosses sucked, and then the areas were kind of poorly designed, and I never had to stealth because I got a P90, and I remember mechanically Snake controlled very well, and I'm like, there's a fun game in here somewhere.
Yeah, see, that's sort of the thing. Like, Snake controlled really well, and that sort of broke the game, almost. Like, he controlled so well, you could articulate so
Which is
well.
why I was so excited that The Last of Us was an awesome stealth game.
Right. God. Apparently the melee in that game was so goddamn hard to get finished that every day, like, Evan Wells, one of the co-presidents of Naughty Dog, because there are 2 co-presidents.
Right.
Kept coming in and he's like, guys, when is melee not going to be shit? Because it ray traces the environment to figure out what the closest thing to use in your melee is. That's how they got across the slamming their head into counters.
Yeah.
And all sorts of other things.
God, those guys animate like motherfuckers.
Yeah, don't they though? God.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's melee in this game with guns, and I never once went, come on, I was clearly close enough to hit that guy. Although every now and then I'd just be turned the wrong way. Because I was hiding and the guys behind me, and I didn't turn around, I just got up and started swinging.
Yes.
And sometimes I wouldn't be on with the program that they're actively looking for me. They'd kind of know where I am. So I'd be crouched down. He'd be coming at me with a fucking pipe. I'm like, I can stealth this guy. He's like, what's up, motherfucker? 1 to the face.
Yeah.
Man, I feel sorry for people who think that Beyond Two Souls is going to be like this good of storytelling.
People think that?
Yeah, people are still excited about
Are you,
that.
are you just reading NeoGAF again?
I might be. Oh, God.
Oh, Bob.
Is that the boat game?
No, that is the neck game from the Heavy Rain developer.
Oh, yeah.
From Quantic Dreams and
Yeah.
David Cage.
David
David
I'm
Dave.
looking forward to that game.
I am interested in that game. Very interested. Much like I was with Heavy Rain, which I never played.
It's kind of like a Kubrick film. You know, it may not make complete sense, but damn, yeah, I'll watch that. There's going to be a lot of interesting ideas in there.
Yeah. I like
and
that
maybe
there's...
someone's life will be turned into some kind of horrible circus nightmare.
I like how many time jumps there are in it. Like, there's a good bit of time jumps in you're developing this character as... Yeah, it's a lot more interesting than I thought it was originally going to be. Because when they first showed it off, I'm like, oh, this is going to be retarded. You're always going to be on the run from the cops. And
Is there enough money sluicing around in the TV industry that we can have a reality show where great designers remake shitty games?
What?
Because I want to see somebody make The Bureau.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You know the show Chopped on Food Network, where it's... Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, brief premise. They have 3 dishes that 4 contestants have to make. Each round, one of them gets chopped.
Right.
Literally murdered on stage.
Chopped up Gutenberg neck dish.
I think it goes
I
20
believe
minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. They have to do appetizer, entree, and then dessert. And these are 3 well-segmented moments. I want... Oh, what is the name of that thing? There's... Oh, man, I can't believe I forgot this. There's competitions to make games. I forget the phrase for it, but basically it generated things like Surgeon Simulator 2013.
Oh,
I want
like the 24-hour challenges and stuff like that?
Yeah, Ludum Dare. There we go. Ludum Dare. I want a Ludum Dev Dare show. I want them to sit down 4 developers, give them a day each game, and then chop down, like... And admittedly, there is a day rest in between.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're really fun.
No. We call it Iron Programmer, and people will die.
If we had connections at one of these large, like the game trailers, which is owned by Viacom or Giant Bomb, you could easily pull enough strings to get a show like that started.
Like Sony was talking on the E3 stage, we're going to make more games for gamers. Or
We're
more TV shows for gamers.
We're going to make more games for gamers. No shit.
Whoa!
They kept saying that, like, we're going to make TV shows that gamers will like. I'm like, no, you have no idea what that is.
Right.
Well, it's more of the tester.
Gamers don't like that.
No one likes that.
No.
David Jaffe was on it, and he doesn't like it.
Fucking... like, yeah, I think that show I just suggested is way closer to something gamers would actually enjoy. I'm pretty sure most people would be like, this is sick. I enjoy this.
Right? I mean, it's that fear factor level.
Yeah. Yeah, and
What do you mean he got eye thieves on him so he doesn't need to eat? Okay, sure.
sure, why not? But I just have to wonder if, if somebody wanted to make a show like that, if, one, developers, we could get enough of them with clout for it to be super interesting, at least for one episode, or two, if they were too indie for it and they thought it was a disgusting marketing media horseshit central. Like, no, it's content for people that like the things you make. They just want to see you suffer a bit.
Fuck no. Indies would love coming on this show because, we give them a shit ton of exposure and we have like this week's guest mentor. And then like one day Carmack finds out this show is on.
He's like, I made this amazing program that ray traces geometric data every frame. Is it a game?
Carmack,
shit.
You're not competing.
This is kind of like the guy who's on the Chopped I saw last night. He was such a perfectionist. The appetizer round ended and he handed them an empty plate.
What?
He was like, it's not done. And he just looks them in the eye as he says it.
I like that guy.
I like that guy too. They got him back to do another round because they were like, something about that guy.
But I could totally see Carmack, like he's walking around, it looks like he's just texting on his phone like he's bored, he doesn't want to be there, but at the end of the round he's like, what? Oh, sorry, I was making a game too. Am I not supposed to be doing that? How did you even program that on an iPhone? Oh,
it's this app I have.
I'm not allowed to tell you. Legally, what I did to my iPhone isn't
legal. But yeah, somebody who's listening to this, pull some strings, get us some money. We want to make that show for you. Holy shit, could we kickstart that?
Technically.
Do you think a Kickstarter of that would work?
Technically.
Honestly, every time I think of us kickstarting something, it really comes down to, could we get Penny Arcade to mention it? And then no, because as soon as we're on the phone with anyone from Penny Arcade, it just goes south.
I honestly, with the shows they've put out, I'm surprised and disappointed they haven't tried anything like this. Because their shows like the Robert Koo and other guy show, the hefty dude. Oh wait, no, it wasn't Robert Koo. It was, damn it, it was the two comic artists who have their own comics who were just at Penny Arcades, and they did the show where it was just the two of them, and the premise was just weird.
Are you talking about Blaminations?
No.
Blaminations?
No, it was. They did do that, and that was.
I know they have something
okay.
called Shut Up and Sit Down about board games.
No, it was the guys who do Blamination doing a live action show, which was.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I should say somebody should give Penny Arcade this idea, but then...
Like, honestly, I only go to Penny Arcade TV because the shows I liked from The Escapist moved over there.
And they know that.
Yeah.
And they're hoping you'll watch anything else.
But
we both know.
That other show, X and something. It was really interesting. I need to go back and watch some more of it.
But okay, I guess that's the end of this podcast. Leave a comment talking about whether or not you would like to fund a Kickstarter for Chopped, the game development Ludum Dare hell.
Is that the whole title?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's huge. Well, actually, I don't think we can use Chopped. It's just sad. Damn you, America.